everybody, it is I, Captain Oblivious Mist, and today we're going to be taking a look at the complete history of the Athenic class. And the reason why I'm covering the whole Athenic class in one video, instead of doing what I did with the Big Four, where I'll cover them each in their own individual video, is because I couldn't find much on each individual ship. Therefore, I've decided to break the ships down into sections of one video. So, yeah. I hope you enjoy the video, and let's get on with it. The first ship of the Athenic class was to be called the Athenic, and she would be 12,000 gross registered tons, and she was built in Belfast, then launched on the 17th of August 1901, and she was designed for the London to New Zealand route. She was powered by two 8-cylinder engines and had a surface speed of 14 knots. She could also carry 121 first-class passengers, 117 second-class, and finally 450 third-class. But I can't find much in her accommodations, but I did find something on her cargo hold, as it was designed to be refrigerated, to keep meat cool and stop it from rotting, which I find quite interesting, but heyo, this isn't a video on her cargo room. Which brings me to her career, which was pretty uneventful until World War I, where she was requisitioned and converted into a troop ship. She was then sent to New Zealand, where she became the biggest troop ship ever to be sent to New Zealand, to which she ended up surviving the war, and remained with the White Star Line until 1928, when she was sold to a Norwegian whaling company and became a whaling factory ship, and was renamed the, please forgive my pronunciation of this one, Peliagos, I'm going to say Peliagos, which also went without event until World War II, as during the war she was captured by the Germans, but thankfully wasn't sunk by them or the Allies, and she survived the Second World War. But unfortunately she was beginning to age, so she was put up for sale and was sold to a shipbreaking company who took her to Hamburg and scrapped her, ending a rather uneventful life of a 60-year-old ship, which brings me to her sister ship. The Corinthic began construction in 1901 and was then launched on the 10th of April 1902. She was designed to hold the same number of passengers as the Athenic, and she was powered by quadruple expansion steam engines, and similar to her older sister, her cargo hold was refrigerated. After her construction, she left on her maiden voyage, which started on the 20th of November 1902, which, like most of her career, went without incident. Then, in 1917, when the world was at war, she was requisitioned by the British government. Though this didn't last long, as the war ended in 1918, so the Corinthic was handed back to the White Star Line. During the post-war era, the Corinthic had received a distress signal from a schooner called, I believe it's pronounced the Maget Ryan. The Corinthic responded to this distress signal by coming to the aid of the ship. After this incident, she would remain in service for another few years. During this time, a little thing known as the Great Depression started, which resulted in the Cunard and White Star Line merging, and one of their very first acts was putting the aging Corinthic up for sale, which resulted in her being bought by shipbreakers, and so she was scrapped in 1931. The third and final ship in this class was to be called the Ionic, and she was launched on the 22nd of May 1902. Similar to both the Corinthic and the Athenic, she had a refrigerated cargo hold, but a difference was the fact that she had a Marconi wireless and became the first ship on the New Zealand route to do so. And she left on her maiden voyage on the 16th of January 1903. Nothing of note happened for a majority of her pre-war career, so I'm going to skip to World War I, as at the beginning of the war she was requisitioned by the British government and converted into a troop ship. This went uneventful until 1915, when a U-boat fired a torpedo at her, but somehow she narrowly avoided it and continued on her way. As for the rest of her war career, it was pretty uneventful, and the war ended in 1918, so the Ionic was handed over back to the White Star Line. Then, in 1927, a French fishing vessel called the Daisy ran aground, but thankfully for the Daisy, the Ionic was in a nearby area and helped evacuate the Daisy. Then, in 1929, she was converted to only accommodate third-class and cabin-class passengers,
This wouldn't last long, as soon the Cunard and White Star Line would merge, not only creating an eyesore of a logo, but also resulted in older White Star liners, including the Ionic, being sold, which resulted in her being sold to Savile and Albion Line. This would only last a few years though, as in 1936 she was broken up in Osaka, Japan, but at least her bell was preserved. In my opinion, the Athenic class was amazing and revolutionary, and though they have mainly been regarded to the massive passages of time and are hardly ever spoken about, in fact I believe this is the first video on their careers, I personally think that they are one of my favourite classes of ships to exist. But in the end, they are now forgotten. Hello everybody, it is I, Captain Oblivious Mist, and I'm back with the epilogue. Sorry if I end up coughing through the epilogue. I'm currently ill, which you know if you've seen my other video. Which I'd also like to say, once again, thank you for 100 subscribers. This would not be possible without every single one of you. Some of you have been here since my top 10 ships list. To those, I say thank you for this journey. And as my other note, haha, you think a sore throat, blocked nose, and being sick will stop me from uploading a video? Oh yeah, and a horrendous cough. Oh, I got another thing coming. Captain Oblivious Mist stops for nobody. Even a cough and a cold. Hell, the world is probably ending and I'd still work on a video. Which reminds me, the next video will be on the Adriatic, and then we'll do the ugliest ships. Then afterwards we're going to have a bunch of top 10s while I reorganise my channel. So my viewers decide. I will in fact be doing the putting up the voting for my next video, which reminds me, for my next set of videos, which reminds me, we won't be getting a fuller video next week, not only because first of all, Merry Christmas, second of all, I'm still very ill and it was very exhausting finishing off this video. You know, I'm going to be writing Adriatic, but I won't be recording anything, so I apologise for that, and not until my throat's cleared up, because I don't know if you can sound, but I sound horrible and I keep coughing. Another notice is I plan to do a bunch of videos, or a series of videos, on the history of certain people from, like, usually maritime related. Stay tuned for that. But anyways, I think that's everything. So enjoy the bloopers. Thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Two 8-cylinder engines and had a surface speed of 14 knots. She could also carry 121 first-class passengers, 717. Damn! The Corinthic began construction in 1901 and was then launched on the 10th of April 1902. She was designed to hold the same number of passengers as passengers. Yeah, because the Corinthic, you see, could turn into a passenger. She could just go, boom, there she is. She's turned into a person, and she'll go and enter in herself. Wait, and had a similar older sister. She had a similar older sister to her older sister. What? In 1918, the Corinthic ended the war. God, Dylan, you're coming up with some really horrible mispronunciations tonight. Okay, the Corinthic ended the war. What's the deal with that? Did the Corinthic just walk into the middle of a battlefield with like cool dramatic music playing as everyone was shooting at her, and just walked in with a six-pack and just started smashing everyone to smithereens? Is that what happened? Because I wouldn't be surprised at this point with some things I've come up with. I've made my own ships. Okay, I've made my own words, and my grammar's horrible. Crikey, Dylan. Just crikey.